Good morning. This is Dylan Jovine with Behind the Markets. Happy Thursday. Today's Thursday, October 16th. And today I want to talk about a couple of alarm bells going off for the consumer, specifically two in particular. First, Google searches for the phrase bankruptcy lawyer are the highest they've ever been. So you get the sense that a lot of people are starting to feel stress. A lot of consumers are starting to feel stress. And auto loan delinquency rates is at the highest level in 14 years at 3.8%. 3.8% of all car loans are bad, which basically means 4 out of every 100 cars that you see on the road, their owners are struggling to pay those loans. There are companies that just engage in high risk credit loans. You get to see that with Tricolor Holdings, which basically ran into trouble last week, and the week before that, First Brands Group, a car parts company. So you're starting to see a little sickness in the auto sector. The auto sector is something that I've always looked at very closely as a sign for when a good market ends. It's a good indicator of consumer in trouble, basically. And remember something. Why is this so important for us to keep an eye on? Why is this so important? The big reason is consumer spending powers 70% of the economy. So basically, 70% of all economic activity is powered by consumer spending. So when the consumer starts to get into trouble, that really starts to send shudders through the rest of the system. Now, in this case, for example, Tricolor Holdings, this auto lender, gets in trouble. Now think about it. First Brands Corp, JP Morgan, Jefferies Bank, all these banks have exposure. Blackstone has exposure. So there are a lot of companies that have exposure to these. Now, we are not at a crash. Your antenna, my antenna, goes up when things like this happen. It's very indicative of a late cycle in credit, very indicative of that. It's the kind of thing that starts to happen. When it comes to credit extension like this, look, there's the old rule. If you see one cockroach, there's probably a bunch more. The same thing is true when you start to see lending issues like this. If you see one lender having trouble, a big mass market lender, usually that means there's more lenders having trouble that are going to be out. And remember something. Now, this was bank-led, so we know this is JP Morgan, Blackstone, and Jefferies who are going to take nice hits for this. But the big trouble, the thing that concerns me a bit are these non-bank loans, loans that we don't even know are in the system. So we don't even know these loans are in the system. So it tells us that lending, especially in the auto market, I wouldn't touch those stocks, auto lending stocks at all. You're just starting to see a sign that their standards, their lending standards grew too lax in the past 10 years. And again, that is what drives a bull market. More people make money, banks and lending companies relax their lending standards, people buy cars, that propels the stocks. People buy cars, they actually go out and send those stocks higher. But it becomes a cycle, which is where we are. It's just a self-reinforcing cycle. And that's the way all bull markets are. So again, this doesn't tell us there's a crash around the corner. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is this is a signal that we are, as we've talked about in the past, in the late innings of this game. We're in the late innings of this market cycle, and we've got to keep an eye out, as we've said, as I try to warn us once a week. This is actually just what goes through my head. So these are the things I'm looking at. I'm sharing the things I look at with you. The good news is there is a way. There's a lot of plans. We have plenty of plans and things and writings and videos on how to make money when this market turns, and you can pick them up. Anyway, that's all I have. Have a wonderful Thursday. I'll speak to you tomorrow.